You are not out of ideas. You are just looking at the wrong signals. Right now, someone with half your education is about to build generational wealth. They did not work harder. They did not have better ideas. They just noticed a pattern you are completely blind to. And in the next 8 minutes, I am going to hand you the exact 3-part filter that separates the 2% who build real wealth from the 98% who work until they die. But I need to be honest with you. Once you see these patterns, you cannot unsee them. You will start spotting billion-dollar gaps everywhere, and it will frustrate you that everyone else is walking right past them. We are in a narrow window where these signals are clearer than they have been in a decade. After that, the market corrects, the gaps close, and the opportunity vanishes. If you are not paying attention right now, you are literally leaving millions on the table. Let us destroy the biggest lie in innovation. Billion-dollar ideas do not come from sudden inspiration. That is survivorship bias. It is why 90% of founders chase ghosts. Real opportunity is not invented. It is detected. The market leaves breadcrumbs everywhere. Most people step over them because they are looking for lightning bolts instead of fault lines. The financial system does not reward raw creativity. It rewards pattern recognition. The 3 patterns are complaint clusters, the adjacent possible, and invisible arbitrage. I will show you exactly how to map them, and why your next career move or side project could lock you into a decade of compounding leverage. But there is a trap with pattern 1. Most people track it wrong. They log surface complaints and drown in noise. I will show you the exact filtering method in just a moment. Let us run the actual math. A Harvard Business Review study tracking 200 serial entrepreneurs found something brutal. First-time founders succeed 18% of the time. Repeat founders succeed 34% of the time. Why? Because experience is not about working harder. It is about training your brain to spot the same structural gaps faster. Pattern recognition is not a talent. It is a trainable filter. The first filter catches 73% of consumer startups before they even ship a product. I call it the complaint cluster. When 3 unrelated groups complain about the exact same friction point within a 6-month window, that is not annoyance. That is market demand screaming in code. Think about taxis before 2009. Riders hated waiting. Drivers hated empty miles. Cities hated congestion. The pattern was not taxis are bad. The pattern was coordination is broken. Uber did not invent transportation. They solved the cluster. You might be thinking those gaps are already filled. Here is what you are missing. Clusters shift every 18 to 24 months. New technology creates new friction. New regulations create new bottlenecks. Your protocol this week is simple. Spend 30 minutes scrolling niche forums, software reviews, and 1-star feedback. Look for phrases that repeat across different products. Write them down. Filter out emotional rants. Keep only the process breakdowns. That is your first billion-dollar breadcrumb. But complaints only tell you what is broken. They do not tell you what is newly possible. That is where pattern 2 comes in. The adjacent possible. Innovation rarely jumps categories. It combines what already exists in a new sequence the moment it becomes technically feasible. GPS existed. Smartphones existed. Mobile payments existed. The moment they touched, ride-hailing and delivery networks became mathematically inevitable. The pattern is not about inventing new pieces. It is about recognizing when old pieces finally snap together. Artificial intelligence did not create new markets overnight. It made existing workflows 10 times faster. The gap is the companies that will win are not building artificial intelligence. They are replacing broken human processes with automated ones that already work at 20% capacity. You might be wondering how to spot this before it is obvious. Watch for regulatory shifts, API releases, or infrastructure upgrades. When a tool drops its price by 80% or opens its platform, the adjacent possible just expanded. Protocol. Map your industry's core workflow. Identify the step that requires the most manual handoffs. Ask what new tool released in the last 12 months could automate this bridge. That is your adjacency. That is where the money is. But here is where 99% of people fail. They see the pattern, but assume they need capital to execute. That is why Pattern 3 is the most overlooked wealth multiplier. Invisible arbitrage. Arbitrage is not just finance. It is the art of moving value from where it is cheap to where it is scarce. In 2016, e-commerce sellers in Southeast Asia had access to manufacturing networks Western brands could not touch. The arbitrage was not the product, it was the supply chain transparency. Today, the arbitrage is knowledge transfer. The same onboarding framework that flops in enterprise tech can dominate in healthcare if localized properly. The expertise exists, the distribution does not. That is your gap. And here is the kicker. You do not need to be the expert, you just need to be the connector. Protocol. Identify a high-skill domain. Find where it is siloed. Package it into a template, service, or micro-consulting offer that crosses the border. That is arbitrage in action. That is how you build wealth without capital. You might be thinking this sounds great, but how do you track all three without burning out? You do not chase them randomly. You run them through a single filter. I call it the Pattern Triad Protocol, and it is what separates the scanners from the speculators. Step 1. Capture. Keep a running log of repeated complaints, new tool releases, and information gaps. Review it weekly. Delete anything that does not repeat. Step 2. Cross-reference. Overlay the clusters. Does a complaint align with a newly available tool? Does that tool unlock an information gap? When two or more lines intersect, you have a verified opportunity. Step 3. Stress test. Ask 3 questions before you build a single thing. Who pays? How do I reach them? What is my unfair advantage? If you cannot answer all 3 in 90 seconds, the pattern is not ready. Walk away. There will be another. You might be wondering, what if you are not technical or creative? Good. You should not be. Execution beats invention. The people who scale billion-dollar ideas are not the ones who dreamed them up. They are the ones who systematized the pattern and removed friction. The market does not reward visionaries. It rewards validators. And validation starts with one decision. Will you keep consuming noise, or will you start scanning for fault lines? Your next 30 days determine the trajectory. Pick one industry you understand. Run the triad. Map the intersection. Test a micro offer. If it converts, scale it. If it does not, log the data and pivot. Either way, you are no longer guessing. You are tracking. Because the wealthy do not predict the future. They position for patterns already forming. And the pattern forming right now is not hype. It is the automation of human bottlenecks in legacy industries. If you're ready to run the triad on your own industry, I've left the exact tracking template in the pinned comment. Use it this week. But spotting a pattern means nothing if you don't understand the one force that quietly drains its value over time. In the next video, I'm breaking down the inflation secret, what your money is actually losing every second, and why store of value means something completely different than what your bank tells you. Watch it next. It's the mathematical foundation every serious builder starts with.